dznpodcast about to start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the DZN Podcast. I'm your host, Dre. We will do the rest of the introduction in a second, but let's let this beat play out. Just want to say hi. We're back. Let's go. It's the best about to wrap up. It's been a long time. Goes by fast when you're having fun, as always. I feel like rapping, so I'm gonna talk. Welcome to the DZN Podcast. This an intro for your ass, and always remember that. DZN Podcast.
There we go. Wish I had headphones.
Development, man. Like I said, we broke college students, man. I apologize.
I'll get it back. I'll get that. Yeah, listen up. It's Sully on the mic, and I'm coming through clear. Listen up, turn me a little louder in your ear, cause I'm coming through. Yeah, you know I'm hitting this hard, and I stand 6'5", and I'm looking like I got, I don't know. Bars, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that one. I can barely hear the beat.
I'm listening. All right.
Yeah, I can flow. I gotta hear the beat. I just hear it coming through Andre's headphones, like out the side.
I apologize.
It's okay. I'm gonna get some headphones. I'm gonna go to Guitar Center right after this.
You can gladly donate if you want to.
Yeah, get your boy some headphones so I can come on here and actually flow.
But all right, man. This is the intro to DZN Podcast. I am Dre, the host with the most. Also, Retro Dre, also Retro. And always remember, drizzle, because what happens when your girl, when I talk to her, that's what always goes down. It's the drizzle. But I have a guest here today. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
Welcome me, a.k.a. John Sullivan. I go by Sully. Like I mentioned in my rap, I'm 6'5", sometimes 6'6", depends on which pair of shoes I'm in. So you're going to notice me. Plus, I got that personality, too.
Do they call you Big Sully?
Big Sully? Yeah, they do. They tend to call me that. In high school, I was just like Sully the Monster from Monsters, Inc. because my school's colors were blue and white. So in the all blues that we wore for away games, I literally looked like a big blue monster. So you didn't want to see me come across the middle. Yep.
You didn't get where I was going with that, though. You remember that LL Cool J song, Headsprung?
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. No, I didn't pick up on that. My bad, man. Damn.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I should have got that one.
But first, well, y'all that are in sports have seen the news lately about Mr. Colin Kaepernick. His tryout happened on Saturday. And here's the quote. I've been ready for 3 years. I've been denied for 3 years. ... We're ready to play. We're ready to go anywhere. ... The ball is in their court. Kaepernick on his next steps following his workout. From ESPN. So, I have my thoughts on Kaepernick. I want you to go first, sir.
All right. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. But anyways, let's see. as the casual observer of the NFL, I got more into it this year, I guess, but I've recently just been a casual observer of the National Football League. And I watched him when he played for the 49ers, and he had that ridiculous run in a playoff game, and then he got up and he flexed and like kissed his bicep, and there's that iconic picture of him doing that. There was no denying that he was a talented quarterback, but I mean, he took a stance that was against the popular opinion of the people in charge of the league, and it cost him his position on the field. And now as he's trying to come back to it, like I said, I'm a casual fan of the NFL, but watching like from a little bit away, this seems like the workout was going to be taped at the Falcons facility. There was 27 teams, I think, or 25, something like that, out of 32. So the majority of the teams were there, including like high-profile ones, like the Patriots. My New England Patriots were there, you kind of have to play the game somewhat, and I think this is one of those instances where he might have just possibly played the game and it could have worked out a little better for him, because the workout he ended up doing was exclusively him throwing for 40 minutes, no footwork drills, nothing like that. And it just seems like the NFL one probably would have been a little better organized for him to showcase all his talent to a bunch of NFL teams. And I think only like 12 ended up making it to the high school that he did it at, because it was 3 hours away from the facility that the Falcons had for him. The Falcons. For a second, I thought I was lost. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I think he kind of shot himself in the foot with this opportunity, because sometimes you just have to bite the bullet with a little bit of it. And like, I heard this was all over a waiver. Like, that's what I've read. I obviously am not Colin Kaepernick. I know, surprising, right? But they did not land Colin Kaepernick for this podcast today. But it all comes down to like exactly what was in the waiver and all that. But I mean, to me, if somebody said you can go play lacrosse again tomorrow, I'd be like, where and how? And as long as it didn't involve the murder of a child or anyone, I guess, I'd probably do it. So there you have it. That's my take on this. What about you, Dre? Let's hear yours.
Before we get on that, do you think your guy Hove had a big influence on?
I'm a big Jay fan. I do think he was involved. I'm sure he was involved. Goodell was involved. I like, the league wants to mend its image, which is why Jay is now like its ambassador or whatever the hell he is. And
stay low and keep firing.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're trying to improve their image, and so I think they wanted to give him an actual shot here, and I think they kind of were aiming to. Like, it was a legit facility. They were going to film the whole thing. The only thing is, it was closed to media, I think. Like, that was his big issue, and the waiver. But it wasn't entirely closed to media. They just couldn't film the throwing portions. But there was going to be film put out there, and I'm sure that would have gotten out to the public. So, I don't know. But, yeah, I think Jay was involved for sure. But also didn't Cap say something about Jay after like the Super Bowl performance ended up being who was it last year? Maroon 5 or something like that.
It was I can't remember.
It was some whack band.
Yeah.
It was some whack band, but it was not. It wasn't anyone of color or anything like that. Anyone interesting. It was just like another generic trash Super Bowl halftime show. Sorry for coming at you, whoever you were.
Yeah, but I think it was. I do remember it was some smoke from Kaepernick's camp coming his way, because you remember when he first did the NFL deal, talking about Jay anyway. He first said, "Yo, we're past kneeling," which he has a point when he said that.
Yeah. The conversation has moved past the kneeling. Nobody really cares about kneeling anymore. They more so care about talking about the conversation around it.
Yeah, and it gets to the point like, all right, it's all this talk, but where's the action?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's too many people talking about stuff.
I know.
There's no action going on.
When you say that and we're on a podcast, Andre, Don't say that. We're talking about stuff right now. No, I understand. I understand what you mean. But yeah, I mean, we're two young college kids right now. We don't exactly have the legislative power or anything to make changes, but
we're probably never going to have it. So
that's true.
So
that's
we're
true.
just here to talk about it. So
I plan on being president, sir.
If it wasn't for me, it would never be none of y'all.
what is wrong? Like,
I'm gonna have the Secret Service protecting me.
in other news,
Moving on.
no, but get on the Kaepernick thing though. I didn't know he was actually had an invite to the facility. He didn't go. I just saw him thrown. I didn't know the behind the scenes behind.
Oh, you didn't know that? No, yeah.
I
There
didn't
was
know.
30. There's 32 NFL teams. Like 27 of them had sent representatives and agents to go watch him at the Falcons practice facility. It was all going to be taped. Media was allowed. They just weren't allowed to do their own taping of him doing routes and stuff. They provided receivers. There was a couple other quarterbacks to give him like reps, like breaks in between reps, because I'm sure this was probably going to be longer than a 40-minute deal. I bet there was probably going to be some footwork, that kind of thing, to just show off all of his skill set instead of what we all know, which is, guess what? Colin Kaepernick can throw a football a long way. We all already knew that. So like they just wanted to see his full fitness, I'm sure, and that was probably going to be what was going on there. And Huey Jackson, I think? Hugh Jackson? Yeah, Hugh Jackson was the guy who was going to be running it. So, like, an NFL guy was running it. There was, like, the majority of the NFL teams were going to be there. 3/4 of the teams were going to be there. It was going to be filmed by an NFL squad, like, by the Falcons film people at their facility. And he changed the date at the last minute, like 5 hours before going to the facility to do this. He was like, actually, I'm going to do it at this high school with my own people.
He doesn't want to play football.
That's what Stephen A. Smith said, and I kind of agree with it. He doesn't want to play football. He just wants to make a statement.
He wants
attention.
attention.
He wants to get attention, that kind of thing.
That shows it right there.
Yeah. Well, that's what Stephen A. said, and I liked that this morning because I was like, yeah, I think, that if somebody said to me, you can go play lacrosse again right now, I would do it. Like, if they were like, you have to go to Atlanta right now, but there's a thing in 7 hours, the drive is 6 hours, I'd sprint to my car, I'd grab my gear, and I'd be gone. I'd be on the way there. I'd get there with enough time to stretch and take the field. Like, that's all it takes for me. And if you really want to play your sport, if you really miss it that bad, then that should be all it takes for you. And all of it was over like a weird waiver issue. It was like the NFL like pre-combine waiver, but modified because it's not for the combine, the full combine. And like they sent it to Cap's team, and Cap's team sent it back like all red marked up, like just like, no, we're not going to do this part. No, we don't like this part. We want this part changed and this part changed, and we want the media to be able to film their own stuff because we don't think you're going to be fair about putting it out there. And I mean, all 32 teams are going to receive a full copy of his training tape from that day, and they were all going to receive, and like 26 of them were there to watch him. So it just seems weird to me that you would then change location and only have 12 there to watch you, but, the media gets to watch you. That just seems bizarre to me.
I heard somebody call that out on a YouTube video when it first happened. Like, this is all for attention.
What, like a couple days ago?
No, like, it was
the
months.
kneeling thing?
Yeah, it was about some months ago. It was just like, this is just for attention. And he was pretty much, he was being used by the corporations. And I was like, that may be true, because I wasn't really following it at the time. That may be true, may not be true. Fast forward to now, okay, this is for attention.
Well, look at what he's doing. Nike. So you don't know much about this whole deal, do you?
I know a little bit.
So do you know about the Nike commercial?
Yeah.
So he's going to do a commercial for Nike about this tryout. That was part of his agreement with the NFL, was that Nike got to come and film, and they got to produce a commercial out of it.
He's being used by Nike.
Yeah, no, well, I wouldn't even say he's being used by Nike. I think there's a mutual relationship. I think he's like one of those little fish that swims along with the shark, and eats the nutrients that fall off of the shark, because he realized, I don't have to get tackled by 6'9", 200 to 385 pound men anymore, and I still get millions a year for being in these stupid commercials that Nike likes to make. I tried to look up a commercial on Nike running shoes the other day for class. I could not find one. They were all about like women in sports, people of color in sports, or something else in sports. And I was like, Nike, do you even care about marketing your shoes anymore? I literally couldn't find one. And like, that's well and good, but I was looking for a Nike shoe commercial for a class, and I was like, okay, this is just crazy. They don't even have shoe commercials anymore. But
because we do the marketing.
Yeah, we do the marketing for them. When they just release a picture on their Twitter page and everyone's like, yo, dude, did you see these? Oh my God. And it's like, all right, well, they've sold them already. They have to just now announce a release date and people will be lining up. So they don't have to market them. They can just pick and choose other stuff to market. And but yeah, so Nike signed a deal that they were going to get to produce a commercial around this. And the NFL was going to agree to that and let their image and likeness be used in the commercial. And then, so I think Cap realized at a certain point, once he started the kneeling, I don't know if he started the kneeling for a good purpose or not, or if he just said it was.
That's the question.
You never know with people. But the thing is, other people adopted it for real interest, not because they didn't leave the league and then go and start trying to promote themselves. Well, yeah, some did, but like a majority of those guys who were kneeling are still on NFL rosters. They were just doing it to raise awareness for something that was already pretty aware of. It was just like a statement type of deal. But I think somewhere along that ride, when he started wearing like pig socks and Castro shirts and shit like that, I think he realized, can we cuss on this?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he realized, man, I don't have to get tackled by 300 plus pound dudes anymore every game and risk my brain. I can just instead have a massive afro and talk like I'm very woke, and Nike will pay me to do that. So I think he realized that, and credit to him for that realization, because he's not going to have CTE, I don't think, but it's he doesn't want to play football anymore is my take on this whole situation. He just wants to appear to play football to keep his name in the image and to keep that Nike money coming in.
And that's what sucks about like people actually standing for something nowadays. It's more for attention than to actually change something.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about it, though. If everybody actually wanted, if people really actually wanted to actually change something, they wouldn't do it the way that they do it. Mm-hmm. Just looking around and seeing how people talk about and do certain things just for, I'm fighting for this group of people and that group of people. Well, there's other ways you can actually change something.
Allies. That's what they call themselves.
But it seems more like of a fight than a conversation.
It's always a fight. It's never a conversation. The other day in class, we were discussing a case where a kid got shot while he was running from the police, and him and his brother were murder suspects. They got him out of the car. They were like getting ready to handcuff him, and he took off running. He hopped the fence into a kindergarten and was running away from the officers. An officer fired once, happened to kill him. I mean, he hit him in the head, but he was aiming center of mass. That's what he said anyways. And the kid was known to have weapons. Now, he was 16. Nobody wants a 16-year-old to die, but he was a murder suspect fleeing police, known to have weapons, and had just hopped into a kindergarten. At the end of the day, that's a man, not a kid. And yes, he was running from the police, but where was he running? That's the biggest issue. It wasn't down the street. And nobody would have shot him if he was running down the street. They would have called other units. They would have blocked off the road, and they would have caught him. It would have been fine. But I got called a racist for being of the opinion that the cop was somewhat restrained. I mean, he shot one shot. He was clearly intending to disable the man. A headshot from 20 yards away with a pistol, That's crack accuracy. That dude either hits the range every day or he missed high and he was aiming for center mass, like chest area or lower back or something. And like at the end of the day, someone lost their life and it's sad, but his brother was convicted of the murder. He was a known accomplice of his brother's, and like the whole situation led to a terrible ending of his life. But the choices he made also took him there. And I was called a racist for saying that because the kid was a Hispanic kid, not a white kid. I would have, if it was a white kid, I would have said the same damn thing, you know?
Well, no one cares when a white person's saying that in this day and age. So
I know.
You got to just be quiet on certain issues because whatever you say, good or bad, you can't win.
You can't win. I know. And it sucks.
This is the era of white rulership. Even though you're racist in power, it's just so many people that don't like it, don't understand why and how things are and how they can change it. They want to just attack and say everybody's against them. And it's not reality, but
no, I'm certainly not against people. I mean, you're a black guy, I'm a white guy. We're sitting here having a good conversation because we're friends. At least I think we are, Andre. I know you're not a warm, bubbly guy, but I think we're homies. But yeah, and like it's just weird to me that I was called a racist for defending a police officer for doing his job and stopping a dangerous criminal from potentially taking hostage a group of kindergartners. What if it was your 4-year-old to 6-year-old in there? Like, would you not be pleased that the police officer put an end to a very dangerous situation with 1 round? I think I would be. And I mean, I would hate that a family lost their child, but I would be very happy that mine was safe at the end of the day because of the officer's actions. So I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, I was literally looking a girl in the eyes, trying to talk to her. And like we had the floor and she called me a racist, like snarled at me, rolled her eyes and turned her chair away so that her back was facing me. And I was like, well, great discussion we have had today.
Truth hurts, man.
Yeah, no, it does.
And lies are more entertaining. Truth hurts, lies are more entertaining.
Yep.
And when it's a discussion like that, police officers shooting unarmed or possibly armed and not being engaged or informed of all the aspects of a situation, it's always going to be a disagreement because of the way news is perceived and the way that people are perceived and the way that society is now. You can't say anything without somebody attacking you. You can't say certain words now without people attacking you. Not saying that I don't understand that. It's just what you can't censor everybody.
Well, exactly. And the thing is, I'm not coming out trying to be offensive. I'm just looking at the facts and being like, well, the facts of this case, and I'm not saying that every police shooting is justified by saying this one was. The facts of this case warrant the officer pulling the trigger 1 time. But like, unless my finger is on that trigger, I don't know what his intentions were. He could have been hitting the range every day and just been like, here's my opportunity to rid the world of 1 less Mexican. Who knows? Who knows what his thought process was? But I mean, he was very remorseful in the interview following, like in everything that came out from the police. He seemed remorseful. He didn't seem interested in ending anyone's life that day. He was just trying to take a murder suspect and his brother into custody. And his brother was convicted of the murder. So it's just crazy to me that I was branded a racist by half the classroom because I looked at the facts. It's just wild that that's how it goes nowadays.
Perspective, man.
I know.
Perspective and lack of knowledge. It's always going, when these discussions come out, unless you know the room, I'm not going to say anything. It's better, like I said last time that we were doing other peace talks and such. Sometimes you just got to shut up.
Yeah.
Even if you are or not informed, especially if you're not informed.
Most definitely.
Even if you are, sometimes just to save your face and save your perception, you just got to just shut up. Because no one, that's why I don't like talking about politics with people, or especially just anybody.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be a fight. It's always going to be taken to another way that you don't even want. You want to have an honest conversation about, all right, Trump's going to get reelected and y'all not going to like it.
Yeah. I think that's a possibility.
He's not about to be impeached.
Sure.
I don't know why y'all think he's going to get impeached.
No, the impeachment parties and shit, that's hilarious.
This is just a story.
It's not going to happen.
They're going to just drag the story out to the election's over next year around this time, and then he
floods the content cycle to a point where you just can't keep up.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about after Peace Talks the other day. Like, as a content person, a fan of content, and now a producer of some content, like, when Trump got elected, I laughed. I was like, well, this is going to be kind of shitty for a lot of people, but, like, he's going to have some hilarious fuck-ups. I know that. And, but then it just has gotten to the point where it's like, if you eat too many cookies, you get sick of cookies. And
You get fat.
yeah, you get fat, and like
Your toe gets chopped off.
I'm so sick of listening to and eating these cookies. I'm just so sick of them. Stop giving me cookies,
You're going to
man.
lose a toe, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, keep trying to listen and eat them, you're going to lose a toe.
I know, bro. I can't. I gotta shut down the oven. I gotta turn it off.
No, you got to throw it in the trash can.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. No, and like me and you are different in that regard because I am always going to just take the fight. I'm always going to. I don't know why. There's something about me. I'm a contrarian. I'm loud. I talk a lot. And I'm always going to take that battle. And, like, it's rewarding the one time in 30 that you get that argument and actually have a decent conversation with someone. But, you know, the other 29 times, it's a girl with short pink hair telling me I'm a sexist or whatever, or, like, a black girl telling me I'm a racist. And it's like, I'm not, though. Like, I really have no issue with people based on skin color or sexual preference or any issue like that. It's just, we disagree on this issue, and to you, that makes me racist or sexist or homophobic. But I'm not really. I have no issue with anyone based on any of those things. It's just whether or not you're going to be nice to me and actually have informed discussions with me, whether or not we're going to be friends.
So I'm going to give the listeners a kind of description of who you are, even though you have already.
Go ahead.
You're like about a 6'6" white dude,
I am.
tall, solid, talks loud, seems like masculine principles about him that he doesn't let go, and you're trying to argue about life and politics.
Yes, indeed.
That's going to never go well for
No,
you,
it's not.
sir.
It's not. And I do seem overly masculine. Like, I've got a beard, and like he said, I'm just a solid individual. You know, I'm like 265, 6'6". That's a big man. But like, if you ask my fiance, I'm like the biggest baby also, because
That's your woman though.
yeah, well, no, I know, but also like in terms of other people, I'm super sensitive. I'm a kind person. I'm a kind soul, and I'm able to change my opinion on something if it's presented to me in a reasonable and factual way. I'm a fact-driven individual when it comes to situations and stuff like that. I like to know what I'm talking about, so I like to keep up on issues from sports to political issues to like just geography, like the changing of landscapes and stuff like that due to deforestation or people. But like, it's just, yeah, I try to have informed debates, and if you tell me that I'm wrong about something and then are able to show me that, I'm like, oh, well, shit, all right, maybe I am. I can learn from it. So like, that's all. I just want to have informed debates with people, but nobody ever wants to have an informed debate. They just want to hurl an insult back at me when I make a statement that is usually informed. I don't come off the top about a lot of stuff because it's just not fun to completely get owned. It's not.
But it's a lot of people that's uninformed out here.
Oh yeah,
They like
but
to
think
admit
they're
it or not.
informed
Yeah.
because they get everything off of Twitter, and they're like, well, Twitter said this, and it's like, well, you follow those people. Of course Twitter is going to say that. Or they Google one thing, and the way they phrase their Google search makes it so that exactly what they want shows up. Autism vaccines will get you, vaccines cause autism. But if you search, do vaccines cause autism, then it'll come up with a bunch of studies that don't have that. But what's the dumb person going to search? Do vaccines have autism or autism vaccine? Probably the 2-word one. So they're gonna get the answers that they put. Like they're gonna get back what effort they put in, and that's why people are so stupid nowadays.
Like I said, just going off the vaccines thing, right?
Yeah.
You got it's a very shots are very skeptical nowadays because it's starting to get a negative connotation behind. Oh, they actually damage kids more than they help kids.
Yeah.
Maybe true, maybe so. But now at the point you have that knowledge in your brain, all right, do some in-depth research about, all right, how true is this? How often does this happen? And then take what you get from it from there, and like how you gonna raise your kid. Like, all right, am I gonna give my kid shots or not? Because you cannot give your kid shots, but that's also gonna make them more vulnerable. But if you do give your kid shots,
you're not gonna be able to let them play with certain kids and stuff like that. So.
Exactly. So
it's just weird that people think they know more than medical science. That has been a thing that has been perfected since the plague. It's just wild to me that people are like, no. There's thousands of years of research on this, but fuck that. No, I know more because my name is Karen, and Takelin and Lakeland don't need their shots this year. Okay, Karen. Well, your children will die. Do you know polio's coming back? Polio. We eradicated polio, and now it's back. It is coming back. There is like a reported case of polio in the United States for the first time in like 80 years or 60 years, something like that. No, 60 to 80 years, something like that. And now it's coming back because stupid people exist more prevalently. Also, another thing is people used to not even be able to read. And in like a span of 100 years, we went from a population where 3/4 of them to half of them couldn't vote, 90% couldn't read, and 90% were like skilled workers who didn't have any grasp on the economy or anything like that, to now, like, everyone can read as long as you went to school. You have,
to a degree,
you have the world literally at your fingertips. You know, I mean, if you grew up in 1920, unless you fought in World War II, like, you probably stayed in your small town area and just lived there for your whole life and didn't know about those far off places. But now we can pull up Google Maps and look at anything, anywhere. And people can realize things like the earth is round. But for some reason, people argue that fact. Why would NASA fake that? There's no reason to. But it's crazy that people think they're more informed than things that our foundation of our society is built on and have been learned for thousands of years and studied and like built up knowledge for thousands of years. And they're just getting so dumb that they're like, well, no, I think because Google told me 2 things that are contradictory to that, I think I'm not going to do that. It's wild.
Well, you also have to think, right, that people have been lied to for so long and so much.
That's true, I guess.
They now are actually open to the information, and now they're second guessing. Well, wait, this says that that Christianity was the reason why I should go to church, but in the Bible, it just says I really don't have to go to church to actually believe in God. So why are you telling me to go to church and pay these tithes when when tithes were created for community purposes? But now you're saying in order for me to actually sit here and actually feel like I'm getting prayers, I have to pay tithes for the church. That doesn't make any sense.
Was tithes, is it like collection?
Yeah, collection plates.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing.
Are you Catholic?
No.
I'm Catholic, so we call it collection plate.
Same difference.
Yeah.
But
I was actually an usher in church for from 9 to 13. I used to do collection. So they trusted me with counting all that money, and I'm proud to say I didn't ever take $1 from the church, although, I gave them some, and that seems weird to me because the Catholic Church does some good, but then if you look at it, it's like there's far too much golden crosses. I think wood does the job too, and it's significantly less. So I don't know. That's the kind of thing that bothers me. But we got here from Cap. So is there anything else you have on Kaepernick?
No, but
he just doesn't want to play football.
Yeah, the long story short, I don't think he wants to play football.
I don't either.
But going back to the Catholic Church thing, I don't know if we're gonna stay on this for too long. Probably not. But
probably not.
Y'all have an interesting. Well, I ain't gonna say y'all because I don't know your stance on the Catholic Church now.
I go every once in a while.
But
I still consider myself a Catholic. I'm not confirmed yet, though.
The thing about those churches, it's a lot of. See, I'm not all the way informed, so fill me in.
I got you. Go ahead.
Who's the leader?
The priest. The priest is there's the priest, and then there's a deacon. If you have a bigger congregation, there's usually a deacon, and then there's like 3 to 4 altar boys, and then like usually a choir.
Okay.
Or not a choir, but like a band or some form of music production. Yeah.
Okay. So the leaders, the priest, and is the Pope related to the Catholic Church at all?
Yeah, the Pope is so the head of the Catholic Church. I thought you meant just in like an individual church. The head of the Catholic Church is the Pope. Then there's cardinals and deacons and bishops and archbishops, and also like there's a bunch of different names for positions within the Catholic Church. It's kind of like a military structure almost. There's like the head guy, and then it goes down to a couple of generals, and then it goes down to a couple of captains and colonels and majors and all of that stuff. So, but it's a very large organization. It's the biggest organization in the world, I think. Or at least one of them. Yeah.
That's odd. Off rip, but keep going.
Yeah.
If you can, if you need to, but.
No, yeah, I that's, so yeah, but in an individual church, like if I was to go to St. Mary Magdalene, which is my church, if I had gone this morning, instead of being here recording, it would have been Father Stibe, who is the priest there and was my priest when I went to school there. And he's a great guy. And then there's a deacon who is there about half the time because he's getting really old and sick now. So he's a great guy too. And then and then there's 3 altar boys who carry this stuff up. And then the rest of the roles are filled kind of by churchgoers. Like I used to be a volunteer usher, so there was 2 head ushers. My friend Aubrey Losack, she went to Alabama, but so roll tide for her if she ever listens. I don't know, she will. But her dad is one of the ushers, and then my other friend, Mr. Reardon's the usher. And so I used to ush for the church back in the day. I would like hold up 3 fingers if a family of 3 needed seats, and he would find them seats and that kind of thing. It was fun, but it's an interesting dynamic because there's a lot of standing up and sitting down. There's a lot of singing. And then there's a lot of quiet time that is really important, as my father used to remind me when I was little. But go ahead. What questions you got?
It's a lot of funny stuff going on that I've seen on the news, of course, over these few years at least. Don't know how long it's been going on for across my lifespan, but there's a lot of funny stuff going on at the Catholic Church. A lot of fondling of children from the top people, and it's odd. I don't know if it's true or not that they said that the Pope can't be married or something like that.
Oh, so yeah, priests can't be married. The Pope can't be married. None of them can be married. That's the issue. It is weird. And I mean, as the Catholic Church gets more modern, they've changed their views on same-sex marriage a little bit. I mean, a little bit. But that still is something, because at least the Catholic Church doesn't, kill gay people anymore, unless you consider the act of being a Catholic who is overbearing to be killing. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. You know what? I'm going to retract that one, because I think that due to indoctrination in the in Catholic faith, some people get too into it, and to the point where they try to send their children to gay conversion therapy, and then they kill themselves. So the Catholic Church, I think, does have a responsibility in that death, but to some degree, because, you should never have people that into something to where they are trying to convert who someone else is. That's crazy. But
that sounds like a control mechanism to me.
It is. And that's why this is going to sound cocky as hell, but being as intelligent as I am, I can look at the Catholic Church and not, drink the Kool-Aid metaphorically, not fully buy in. I have to believe there's something, because I just feel too uncomfortable with life, not thinking there's something afterwards. But at the same time, I don't know if it's heaven or hell. And
Well, some say those are just states of being, not actual places to go.
yeah, that's what I think too, kind of. But I don't know. Who knows, man? You never know until you actually die. But yeah, I just like the comfort that it brings sometimes. Plus, all these people are people I've known since 6th grade, so it's nice seeing recurring people and having a place to go where everything is the same. And that's cool because not a lot of my life is still the same since when I was since when I was in 6th grade. You know, my family moved a ton. We changed houses a lot. We changed places we lived. I've lost family members. I've gained a fiance. Nothing is the same, actually. Nothing is the same except for the 3 family members who I've always had, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and that church and campus, pretty much. That's it. So I like having that to go back to, and you know, Mr. Reardon always claps me on the back and shakes my hand and is real excited to see me. Everyone, all my friends' parents are still there from middle school, still go to that church, so they're always excited to see me and learn what's going on in my life. And so it's nice. It is a community thing, and that's why I think a lot of people buy into it at first. But then if you get too into it, man, it's dangerous, just like anything. If you get too into sports, it's dangerous. If you get too into music, it can be dangerous because you find hidden messages in music that make you go kill people, that kind of thing. So like I mean, if you get too into anything, it's dangerous, but especially with religion, because people kill for religion. I mean, not to say all Muslims are killers or anything like that, but like, you know, a large number of bombings and that kind of thing are done with the intention of creating a large caliphate of the Muslim world, bringing all of that religion together. And it's all based on religion there. Like they're trying to bring their religion together to rule over all these people. And they're trying to make it like a religion and a politics thing, which is even more scary. If your religion and political side of things are together, then that's terrifying, which is kind of why people don't like the Republican Party, in my opinion. They make themselves too religious. But yeah, we're stringing it along today, aren't we, Andre? We're firing along.
Yeah, man.
But do you have any questions in particular about Catholic Church? Because, like, I mean, I went to Catholic school, so I've got your answers.
Not really any questions. Just like I guess I got statements.
All right.
So,
well, let's hear them. I'll shut up for a minute.
It's just really weird how stuff goes on that I see on the news is going on about Catholic Church, and not even just that, just religion in general. Just really seem like it's really fraudulent. Honestly, It's just really fraudulent. That's why I don't go to church anymore. I'm more of a spiritual guy. I'm not really religious at all. I used to think I was Christian, but I really wasn't. And some of the most, like, I ain't gonna say evil people, but some of the most conniving people come out of the church, and that's
Joel Osteen,
and that's very odd. It's just
mega churches. Look at those. Yeah, it's crazy.
Just so weird. But yeah, public service announcement. Be skeptical and research everything, because never believe anything anyone says until you research it.
Exactly. Don't believe anything that you yourself haven't done extensive research on, or a trusted individual doesn't tell you. I mean, you can believe some things like, hey, they're giving away free donuts downstairs. Like, if you told me that, I wouldn't have to look it up to believe you. I'd just go downstairs. I'd be like, tight, thanks, Andre. Although if I went downstairs and they weren't, damn, bro, be a shot to the heart, because I'd be like, I thought I could trust him. It turns out I can't trust nobody.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I've heard of the show.
Damn. Then, yeah. Well, at one point, you know, Danny DeVito. Yeah. At one point, his character starts singing, "It's no use diddling kids." It's no use diddling kids. It's no fun to diddle kids. It's so stupid. But like, yeah, I mean, that should be everyone's stance. It's no good diddling kids. But, I mean, really, though, the Catholic Church, I think they're working to shed that image. Nobody wants the child molestation image. That's not a good one to have. But
they ain't doing the best job.
No, but I mean, also, if you look at the Catholic Church, maybe you could let them get married, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. And also, a lot of people, well, I mean, I'm not gonna say this because, you know what? I'm gonna try and phrase it right. Some people turn to the priesthood because they felt locked into this Catholic faith, but were also homosexuals. And this was in the older days of the faith, you know, not like the 1500s or anything, but like, you know, I'd probably say this changed when gay pride started in like the 90s, 2000s, but, or at least changed a little bit, but people were locked into this faith and they were confused and weren't sure what to do with themselves. And then they just thought, well, I'll become a priest because then I can't get married. I will be able to repress these urges, and then urges build up. And like, obviously it leads to horrendous things. But I mean, maybe some of the things about the Catholic Church can change. Not everything that's a tradition is great, you know? I mean, some of the songs are great. I love the traditional hymns. I like reading the Bible sometimes. It's peaceful a little bit. It's calming, at least the parts about heaven, that kind of thing. But it's like not every tradition is a good tradition. And people have realized that pretty much everywhere except the church. Like, for the most part, people are like, you know, maybe we shouldn't do this movie or this thing anymore because it's not looked on in today's society as very good anymore. It's not a good tradition to do, you know? So I don't know. It's everyone else is able to change except the church. I don't know why.
Those are so ingrained.
Yeah.
And it's so historical even that it's like trying to change the Constitution.
That's true. Well, I mean, even magnified by like 20 though, because Christianity is a 2,000-year-old religion.
See?
Yeah.
So trying to change history.
Yeah, I feel you.
And the people who built it probably are like, no. And they have kids and grandkids and great grandkids that are carrying the legacy. They're like, no. This is how it's going to be, and this is how it's going to stay.
Well, that's not how the church even works, really. I mean, it's pretty much all men. There's no women priests, I don't think. It might have changed a little at this point. I don't stay up on the church news anymore because I don't go to Catholic school, so I don't have to, which is nice. But, yeah, and at least when I was still in high school and talking about it every day because we had religion class, women priests weren't allowed. It's all men in the clergy, and it's all you choose it. It's not like you're born into it. It's not like my father was a preacher, I'm going to be a preacher, because your father can't be a preacher. You know, I mean, priests are able to not be virgins, you know, but they have to become born again celibate. So like they have to become basically like born again virgins, you know, like they can't have sex. They're not supposed to have sex once they become a priest. So that's natural human contact. Like, if you don't go without letting one go after a while, I know you're gonna go crazy. And that's what I'm saying right now. Like, some of these things could change. And when you said like, oh, well, the people who built it, no, they're all dead, bro. They're all dead. I mean, everyone who, I guess, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a club. The founders are gone. Their bloodline doesn't remain either. Like, unless, yeah, because they can't have children. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. You can people trace themselves back to Jesus, but none of them were celibate because they didn't have to be. That was rules that were made up during the dark times of like the Middle Ages. Those kinds of rules came into play in the Middle Ages when people were supposed to think sex was dirty because Like, I don't know. God knows why. I don't get it. Who knows? Who knows why people want to control that kind of thing? It's just weird to me.
Population control.
Population control makes sense, but I mean, in the Middle Ages, you were going to die by 30, so there's no reason for population control. Plus, I don't think the king really cared. And it is usually your king who had to do with your religion. But, man, we always find our way to politics and religion, don't we, Andre?
We just can't escape it now, man.
No, we can't.
It's gonna.
No, we cannot.
We actually like start to get to know about things and look at things in different light.
Yeah.
It's always going to trace back to one of these concepts because it's always an undertone that people don't like to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just talk about sports. Well, we would love to, but unfortunately nowadays people want to talk about politics and sports.
They want to talk everything, yeah.
It's
I
not
mean, life
supposed
in
to be.
general.
Yeah.
This is part of everyone's life now every day. It used to be to a degree where you got the newspaper and then you listen to the radio. But, I mean, there was like 7 radio channels and 1 newspaper. It wasn't too bad. And a lot of times the radio also had sports. So it wasn't like you were overexposed to information. But nowadays, with technology right at our fingertips, you're overexposed to it, man. Like, everyone knows everything, or so they think. Everyone knows everything that they want to know. They won't read varying viewpoints, though, and it just sucks trying to be an educational person in this kind of world. It's not easy. So, but yeah, I mean, the Catholic Church, like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to have my parents listen to this episode because my mom would probably be able to sit here and like listen to it, but my dad would want to argue with me on all the things I've said about the church. So I don't know if I'm going to want him to listen to it, but I think, I mean, at the end of the day, like, things have to change. Why is religion the only thing that's allowed to say, no, this tradition remains? That's weird. But also, in going with that tradition or that thing about that, or that what I just said, like, traditions have to change. Why do all the crosses have to be silver or gold? Why can't they be wood and a poor family in Panama get a house?
Well, why is the cross a symbol in the first place?
Yeah, that's
another conversation.
Andre,
so we're not going to go into it.
We're not going into that.
Not going into it.
I don't want to hear that one today.
Yeah,
but yeah,
the question, man.
No, I know, but like, all right, even if we're not going there, why does the cup have to be gold? Dude, plastic works. I get it. It's not as holy, quote unquote, to be plastic, or you could do even silver, man. I'm okay with a silver cup because you're probably not going to break a silver cup, so that's going to last a long time. But it doesn't have to be gold. That's a couple $100. That could help feed a poor family. I don't
promote without style, man.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about like those super preachers who have the mega churches, like Joel Osteen and people like that. Dude, sometimes when I'm on YouTube, I'll like come across like super preacher at court hearing, and it's like there's like this like just ridiculously overdressed man sitting there, and it's like, now why did you spend $7,000 at the Gucci store? Well, I needed this outfit to go out and minister to these people. It's about appearances. They'll only come and see me if they think that this and this. And it's like, wow, you are just taking from the poor, you son of a bitch. It's like, it's so bad.
Just like Popeyes, he's catering to the black audience when he's doing that. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. You notice that the black lady ain't said nothing about the Popeye sandwich yet.
I just read an article about that last night. That was I literally did. It was really funny.
She ain't said nothing about that sandwich yet. It's freaking me out.
But they was talking about how that Popeyes was marketing to black people. Yeah, people don't really look at it.
Everybody fucks with chicken. What do you mean?
But they was trying to get more into the like how they sell their chicken, what they put in their chicken to make it taste good, and where their locations are located. Okay,
location is the only one that I'll agree with because I'm white, I don't like spice.
And how they market their commercials too, though. How they market their commercial with the black
Okay,
lady
the black lady commercials, those make sense. But yeah, I like spices. Everyone likes spices. But yeah, no, that's interesting. What else did the article say?
And they basically were just talking about how their marketing is basically generally to black people, and how
That I would agree with.
Getting money off of them because of they know what they like, and they wouldn't like answer questions or give out their stats of their geographic on who buys the most of their product. So,
well, dude, I was in Popeyes getting the chicken sandwich, and I witnessed a race fight between the black lady working the fryer and the black lady working the register.
before you continue, we gotta do better, man.
I know.
Keep going.
Yeah. Now, this was two black ladies
We gotta do better, man.
fighting each other because the lady working the fryers was going off about, black people come in here buying up this shit, making me work so hard. Our stupid people, this and that. And like the lady up front is like, hey, could you stop talking shit about black people? You are black. I am black. I don't want to hear this. And like the manager had to get involved, man. And the whole time I'm just standing there wanting my chicken sandwich. Like just literally like it was sitting there for 15 minutes while they had this race yelling match. And like I was just staring at it like, can I have my sandwich? And I want to get out of here because I don't want to listen to this again. But no, and it's just crazy to me that like, yeah, everything is so about race and power and all of that. I just wish people could come together and realize that like, as long as you have shelter, food, water, that kind of thing, like we can all live in pretty much harmony. It would be a lot easier.
But no one cares about that.
No one does.
They want to get all the money. They want to have all the power.
Yep.
They want to control all the news cycles. They want to have all their own outlets when each is actually possible.
Yeah.
It's just the part, are you comfortable with it?
Yeah.
And do you know who's running each industry and how they're running it?
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is a country ruled by white people. We're just going to we have to just accept that. That doesn't mean we can't do anything ourselves. That's just a reality. This country is ruled by the people who rule it.
Yeah.
And then once you actually accept that, move on with your life. Because whatever's going to get run and changed has got to go through them, whether we like it or not. We ain't going to be able to change shit unless we do it in our own households first. And that's what we can actually control. So once you figure out what you can actually control and do what you need to control it, that's when the change really happens. When you build your leaders inside your own household, when you lead your household effectively, when you're there for your children, when you're providing for your children to make sure they have the best experience that they can have so they can pass on to their children. And then you create a legacy, and then you create wealth on top of that legacy, and then you get to live comfortably in your own environment. Will there be struggles? That's life. Of course it will. Will there be issues? That's life. Will there be obstacles you got to go through that normal people may not have to go through? Yeah, but that's life. And if you really are upset about it, you can either move or start a war.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I kind of see the potential for either
Another civil war.
Yeah. Forced.
Problem is people are not unified enough to do something like that.
No,
That's
I know.
only
There's too many
reason.
splintering groups
only
within
reason.
things, but it's just like all it takes is one person to unite everyone. But then if that one person starts to get people in order, then they're going to get taken out.
The homie's
right away.
upstairs going, wow.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
done. He or she is done.
A deranged gunman takes down local man who was starting to organize people today. News at 6. Back to you with the weather, Lisa. And it's just like...
Then another outlet's going to say assassination was made by said gunman on potential leader that was going to lead the next civil war.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to you, news at 12.
Yeah, for real. And so, what? That guy got killed? Yeah, just a crazy lone gunman. Really?
He just got shot right out of the blue. Oh, my goodness.
That's interesting. But yeah, it's... They let that be known in the 60s. If you start going against the status quo, blow. Yeah, it's over. But you know, I mean, yeah, my dad told me I made him look at things differently because I'm a contrarian to a certain degree, but also just like I'm not fully motivated by money exclusively. I want my family to live comfortably, but comfortably. No, I don't need to live above my means or anything like that. Yeah, I don't need to live above my means. You know, like Jay said, fuck living rich and dying broke. There's no reason for that. It makes sense to live decent and die decent, like leave something for your kids and move on. You know, I mean, if you can, which is my dad, like he worked his ass off, but I think he's starting to realize also that you can take a step back too and enjoy things, because he's starting to actually take vacations now with my mom and stuff like that, and it's nice. And he's getting towards the end of his career, but
I need my parents to get that message, man. Y'all can take some days off.
Yeah, but like he's starting to go visit our Florida house with my mom more often now, and I like seeing that because the man deserves a break. I mean, he supplied for us all growing up, and that was excellent. But like at the same time, he worked almost too hard, I'd say, because he was gone a lot and that kind of thing. And looking at that made me realize that I didn't want that for myself. Not that I don't respect it. I fucking love my dad. I respect the hell out of him for that. It was not easy realizing that he wasn't going to be home for my first football game ever in high school or anything like that. But he worked really hard for us and supplied for me to be able to go to that expensive private high school. And
that's the price of actually providing for your family.
Exactly.
You're not going to always be there as a man, and that's okay, to be honest. You just got, hopefully, because I may see that in my future. I may not always be home to actually take care of my son or daughter, whoever comes out of the womb, or the woman that I'm going to be with. I may not always be home because I'm going to be providing.
Get that bread. Yeah.
So that's okay, though. That's how households are kind of supposed to be. Men's supposed to get providing, and then.
And I understand that's the traditional role, but I looked at that and I was like, you know, I respect that, Dad, but that's not for me. And I realized that at a young age. I told him one day when I was like 7, I was like, Daddy, I love you, but I don't want to be like you when I grow up. And he was like, I'm sure that shot him right through the heart. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't want to work a desk job. And he was probably like, oh, thank God. Like, at least I'm not like a terrible dad. He just doesn't want to work a desk job. Yeah, I didn't mean it like, wow, Dad, I don't want to come home drunk and beat Mom, because my dad never does that. Like, I just meant like, I don't want to work a desk job. But he was probably like, oh my God. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's fine. You don't have to. There's plenty of other jobs. You could be a cop or something, but fireman out there doing things. But yeah, and that I think made him think about it like, well, yeah, there are other things. And he always said if he could be anything, he'd want to be a teacher or a coach. He loves working with young minds, and he is incredible at it. Like, he used to coach all of our sports teams, and we were pretty good for being like children's sports teams. And he did it without being like, get on the line, running sprints, up downs. He did it all with just like positivity and fun. And I think that's the kind of teachers and coaches America needs for its youth. But he said if he could do anything, that's what he would have wanted to do. But, you know, teachers and coaches don't pay a family of 4's bills, unfortunately.
Well, that's because they're not looked at as people that actually can raise a society that can actually be a better advancement of what it was before. They're just looked at as people that are supposed to put on this certain status quo that we have.
And move it along. Yeah.
And abide by these rules, or you'll get fired, and then move along.
That's why teachers that go above and beyond nowadays are like...
Get fired.
Well, no, not only... Well, at Peace, we have a couple that are really good. Really good. But they're in positions of power, so they're not getting moved along anytime soon. And this is the first place I've ever been where there's teachers consistently that I have that are really good. Like, everywhere else I've been, there's been like 3 or 4 that absolutely blew the doors off of every other mediocre teacher just coming in to get a paycheck. And it was like, yeah, like that's the school system in America now, unfortunately. So Yeah, I just didn't want. I don't want to work a desk job, and I'm still not entirely sure what I want to do. I like being on the mic. We'll see where that takes me. But I also am a history major. I've not mentioned that here before, but I'm a history major, so maybe I'll work in a museum or something. But I could even be like a park ranger or something in Boston, because the whole city of Boston is considered a park. Or is that Philadelphia? It's either Philly or Boston, but one or both actually, I think, because they're historic cities. So you can be a park ranger. I did air quotes for the people at home, and have a you can be a park ranger and just give tours around the city all day. And I think that would be sick. That'd be such a cool job. Plus, I love Boston. I love going up there and just driving around, just looking around there, grabbing a lobster right out of the Chesapeake, eating it up right there with some butter.
Well, all right. If you actually stuck around through this whole podcast without getting angry, upset, or feeling indifferent about what we had talked about, we appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
And if you have a complaint, we can talk about it, or you can shut up, or you can be angry and type all day. Whatever you feel like doing, that is fine with me. But you did listen still, so appreciate that. And as always, thank you. Appreciate you. Good night, good evening, good morning, whatever you're listening to this. Appreciate you, John, for being a guest on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
My name is Dre. And if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram at dznpodcast. Actually, it's d.z.n.podcast. DZN Podcast on Twitter. DZN Podcast on YouTube. DZN Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcast services. And
I have one more thing to say. Andre and I have discussed the possibility of the two of us doing a podcast as well, time permitting. So if you liked what you heard, let us know, because we're potentially doing it. The John Dre Show or something to that effect. All right, now finish your outro. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt, but I did.
Yeah, and as always, you have been listening to the DZM Podcast. We appreciate you. We may love or don't love you. It all depends. And we are out. He get you with this music, though.